Welcome, food travelers. I'm Micah.
And I'm Simon. We're here on our last day in Orlando, and of course, we tried all that Disney fare, and now we wanted to try some restaurants that were kind of outside the theme parks.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that, Simon. Where's the first place we're headed to today?
Well, we actually have 3 spots that we went to for our last day, and this first spot for lunch, we headed over to Padrinos.
Yeah, Padrinos, the Cuban restaurant. I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, they have quite a few locations. I believe about 6 locations around the Central Florida area. I'm excited for Cuban food since we're so close to Cuba.
Yeah, and we did make reservations to this restaurant, but as you can see, there is a lot of open spots. So I think we made a pretty good time coming a little bit later in the day and not having to worry about the crowd.
Yeah, it wasn't too busy, but we ended up ordering some appetizers, and for me, I actually ended up ordering the Caribbean ribs.
Yeah, and I had the lunch special, which is the lechon asado. It's a slow roasted pork with yuca, and they do give a generous portion here.
And the Caribbean ribs are actually baby back ribs. They're glazed with their special guava barbecue sauce. They serve that up with some white rice, black beans, and some sweet plantains.
Yeah, the staff was also very friendly here. There's plenty of parking. For the price of food, I thought it was a really good deal, especially for the lunch special. I think it was under $15, and as you can see here, there's a lot of food.
Yeah, the portions are quite substantial. That rack of ribs was a lot of food, and that definitely filled me up, and it actually stayed with me for a while during this trip, so I was happy that when we ate dinner, it was very late during the day.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the amount of food here, you definitely should come here hungry. There's just so much food. I mean, the flavors are really good. I thought it was seasoned well for the slow roasted pork. As for the other portion, like the rice, I didn't care so much for the carbs, but I thought overall it was still pretty good.
And for these ribs, they kind of prepared a little different. Most people are probably used to that low and slow roasting. In this case, they actually do a fry, so the ribs are actually fried. It's a different way to kind of prepare ribs, and I do enjoy it. I do prefer the low and slow, but these are also a very good way. The sauce, the guava sauce, is a nice sweet sauce that complements the crispy of the onion and the crisp of the ribs after they're fried. Overall, it was a great meal. I really did enjoy it, and gave me a good kind of taste of Cuban food. For the ribs, it wasn't greasy as you would expect by frying them up, but I really did enjoy them. It was definitely filling. So as you can see in the videos how much ribs you actually do get from them. So definitely for the price to what you get for food, it's a very good deal. To finish off the meal, I actually had a little bit of space because I kind of didn't eat the carbs as much as I wanted to, because I wanted to save room for dessert and try something. And in this case, I actually got the pudding de pan. It's a bread pudding, and it has a hint of coconut and raisins, and it's served with their rum dulce de leche. I'm a huge fan of dulce de leche. It's one of my favorite ice creams to eat, and so I really wanted to try this. It's nice, sweet, soft, everything you would like in a dessert. So I really did thought this was a great dessert as well. And as you can see, I really enjoyed the bite going through, and definitely it was something I would recommend if you do end up going to Padrinos and ordering a dessert, and that's something I definitely think you should get.
And as you can see there, that bonus clip, I was actually trying to get a close-up of that spoon feel, but I ended up wiping my camera on the whipped cream.
Yeah, he put his camera and he kind of pushed it in really close, and I was like, why are you going so close? And then it actually got it up on the lens.
And for the next spot, we headed over to Boston Lobster Feast. This is an all-you-can-eat seafood.
Yeah, Mike, I was really excited to try this one. I do love my seafood, and especially if it's all you can eat. you kind of want to get that chance to try everything you can.
Yeah, one thing I really like about this place is the amount of seafood you can eat, and there's no time limit, and you can grab as much as you want. There are some places that we've been to where there is a time limit for how long you can sit there and how many you can grab for a certain item, especially lobster. Lobster is one of those items where you don't always get to eat as many as you want.
And for me, I actually grabbed a few things to start off with. I had some oysters, some clams, and then of course the lobster itself. And the lobster, for me, I have to have it with butter.
Yeah, I thought the butter they did pretty good job. It was nice and warm. It was really melty. It didn't get hard quickly. I thought that was good. I liked how there's so many variety at this restaurant. There's also prime rib, and like Simon said, oyster clams. They also have a dessert bar, so there is quite a bit of choices here besides just straight seafood.
And kind of what you expected from a all you can eat is, you don't get the highest of quality, but you do get a good, decent kind of quality. So it is not the best that you can find, of course, but it's not the worst. I've actually definitely had worse. One of the things that I wish was kind of a little done better was at times if you kind of get that wrong lobster, you kind of get one that's a little bit more rubbery than you would like. So in this case, since they're doing in large volumes, I understand that it's not as easy to kind of keep every single piece cooked the best you can, but when you do have really good buffets that offer seafood as well, they really do a great job in terms of kind of keeping track and making sure that the lobster meat and everything doesn't get overcooked and turn to that rubberized kind of texture.
I think one thing to know about that is I think it really depends on when you go up and grab it and when they bring it out. I think one thing they can improve on is the amount that they bring out, maybe like in smaller batches and more frequent. That could avoid that rubber texture that Simon is talking about.
But overall, I still did enjoy it. It's always, nice to be able to stuff your face with a lot of seafood and especially lobster. So definitely, you can see I did enjoy cracking open those shells and taking the nice lobster tail and dipping it in the sweet, sweet butter and enjoying that nice, delicious flavor.
Yeah, I think I had what like 5 or 6 plates of lobster by itself. Usually the buffets they don't give you a full lobster. It's usually just the lobster tail by itself. I think this was a fun experience where they gave you the whole thing to crack. And also to mention, they did also have snow crab legs. I thought that was really good too.
And after we finished the night, we actually saw the lobster car that was outside and we had to go take a look at it, as you can see.
So after the Boston Lobster feast, we headed down to Disney Springs, to Jaleo by Jose Andres.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, I was so happy that we had this much, much later during the evening. And in this case, we had it after 9 p.m. So this is definitely a late dinner for us.
And for this restaurant, it is a Spanish cuisine. I was really excited to try this. As you guys know, Jose Andres is a very popular chef.
Yeah, he's one of those celebrity chefs that has multiple restaurants kind of scattered all around the world and is very well known for his foods.
And as we head down here to Jaleo and sat down, we were looking through the menu and we were kind of recommended by the waiter to just get the tasting menu. Even though we're so full on food already, we just kind of looked at each other and saw, yeah, that tasting menu looked like a great choice.
Yeah, the tasting menu is called the Jaleo Experience, and it kind of comes with a whole bunch of different things in terms of classic and traditional tapas. There's also some original things that are also kind of splashed in there from the chef. The price of the experience, the tasting menu itself, is about $95. So it isn't a cheap menu, but it was something, since, at least for me, it's my first time with Jose Andres, that I wanted to try pretty much what I could to kind of get that feel of how his food is.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to try as much as I can. I think the tasting menu is a good choice. I would definitely recommend coming here a lot hungrier than what we had space for. Um, yeah, it's a lot of food.
Yeah, there was just kind of courses, if you would say, just courses after courses, food coming in. I was kind of surprised myself as the waiter kept bringing more dishes and more dishes, and I kept thinking, oh, is this kind of the end? But then there would be more and more coming. But you do definitely get an experience of tasting a whole bunch of different types of foods that they bring.
Yeah, just as you can see here in the video, I'm taking that shot glass. That is a Spanish soup. It's tomato, and Simon eating that spoon-filled is olive and olive oil. I thought those were interesting. Yeah, and like Simon said, courses after courses, you really don't know how many course is in the first one or the second one because there's so much food each time they brought the plates over.
And overall, for me, flavor profile wise, there were hits and misses. The olive oil, it was okay, not my favorite. I did enjoy the Iberico ham, that was very good. So one of the things that are great about the chef tasting menu is you do get to try those different dishes, and then you get to see what you really like and what you might not like, and so that's what makes them so great.
Yeah, I agree. I think having as much choices as you can, what's the best decision we could have, and also the best option there is when you're going to a new restaurant. So definitely take into consideration on tasting menus. Even though there is that high price, you really get a lot of food. Like example here in this video, as you see, the cone shaped it's like a I think fish roll on top, and then I'm not really sure what was in the center, but it was really soft and pretty tasty, I would say.
Yeah, I didn't know what was in the center quite myself, as I forgot to ask the waiter to get more kind of specification on what it was, but it was soft, it was creamy, very delicious in terms of that texture where it's creamy and you have that burst of roe that kind of has that saltiness to it. So definitely something pretty tasty.
Yeah, each time a new dish came over, the waiter did explain what each dish was and how to eat it, or which order was recommended, but there's so much food. How do you even keep up with what's going on, right?
Yeah, definitely our table it got filled up pretty quickly, and there was kind of there was pretty much no room left, as we were trying to eat everything kind of quickly as we could, and they were bringing more things. And especially since we did eat during the night and they were getting close to closing time, I knew they kind of wanted to get everything out to us to kind of give us that opportunity to eat everything and not have us stay until midnight or 1 a.m. eating the food.
And as you can see here, that shrimp dish, I think that one was a pretty good one. There was a lot of sauce. They also gave you bread. So I would recommend using that bread and dipping it into the sauce and getting all that flavor with that shrimp. It was pretty tasty, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of the shrimp, was probably one of my more favorite dishes to try. I do enjoy kind of pulling the head apart from the body of the shrimp and sucking out kind of that head juice, if you call it. What do they call it? Like a butter, shrimp butter, I guess. And that's very tasty, of course. And not everybody enjoys doing that, but it does add a lot of flavor to the shrimp. And that was very good.
And on this grilled flat iron steak, I thought it was a little bit on the chewy side. I thought the flavor profile was good, but flat iron steaks in general are more chewy. I don't know why they couldn't include something a little bit more tender, but that's just my opinion.
And then to finish up the night, of course, is the dessert. And actually, this was my favorite part of the night because these were actually my favorite desserts. And this is definitely what stood out from the entire night for me.
I agree. I thought the dessert was the best part of the night. The caramel flan was light, creamy. That whipped cream was, I think, flavored with key lime. And also that crisp with chocolate cake and that ice cream. I thought those two were like perfect pairing just for us to try.
I agree, and one of those things for at least my taste profile is not to get overpowered with so much sugar and sweetness on desserts. And I know that tends to happen on kind of Disney and theme park kind of desserts. And so it was really nice to have this really great balance of just getting that light sweetness where it's there, but then you kind of get the combination with the other flavors from the desserts, either the chocolate or the creaminess of the flan, and the caramel is very, very good. So they did that one very, very, very well.
Yeah, and one thing, as enjoyable as this meal was, I am kind of disappointed by the reservation process. We did make a reservation for this restaurant quite late, but instead of putting us to a different table, they put us right in between two families. And so as we sat down, the little kids from each table were trying to get our attention the whole time. So that part could have been improved.
Yeah, it was a little difficult. We were filming through, and if you could actually did hear the audio that was included in the film, you could hear the kids were screaming pretty loud, and that made it kind of difficult to kind of concentrate. But it's kind of how it is, since families do come, and this is the Disney area, and families are going to be there with their kids. And so we finished off the night, and we walked through downtown Disney.
And with every single trip, we always end with our notables. Unfortunately, for this one, we did not have any notables.
Yeah, Micah, there just wasn't anything that kind of blew us away. They're very good food, so I don't want to deter anybody from trying any of these places, because their food is definitely very, very good, but it just wasn't something that is, for us, blew us away, that we needed to kind of showcase and point out. If you've enjoyed the content you've seen, don't forget to support the channel and hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see additional pictures of food and our travels, go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. And thanks for watching.